the great white shark, the ultimate predator. A creature of unparalleled tenacity that hunts with explosive power. But these behemoths can surprise. Off the coast of South Africa, a massive population of great whites has started to hunt under the cover of darkness. They live here nearly all year round, just meters from a busy tourist beach. Now, shark scientist Ryan Johnson is setting out to unlock the mysteries surrounding these giant predators. His aim, to reveal this incredible behavior unique to the great whites living in a place he calls Sharkville. Mossel Bay on South Africa's southern coast, one of the country's most popular tourist resorts. Sandy beaches and warm water attract sun worshippers in the thousands. But for shark scientist Ryan Johnson, Mossel Bay stands out as home to one of the largest populations of great white sharks in the world. For a shark expert, this bay offers a valuable opportunity to study this infamous species in near-perfect conditions. Unlike other locations along the South African coast, where shark-watching businesses may alter the behavior of the sharks, here, the huge number of great whites remains relatively unaffected by human intervention.
There is only one cage diving operator here in Mossel Bay, and from a research side, that's a brilliant thing. It makes it almost a pristine environment where us as scientists can go out and actually study the natural behaviours of the white sharks.
But once darkness falls, the shark's behavior becomes even more extraordinary. In 2005, Ryan discovered a new and unexplained nocturnal hunting strategy unique to the great whites of Mossel Bay.
That's absolutely incredible. It's 6:34, still about an hour and a half before sunrise, and with a little more than moonlight, the shark has successfully tracked down its prey and attacked.
Now, using his expert insight into these sharks and some highly specialized filming equipment, he'll try to make scientific history.
When I discovered that great whites hunt at night, I realized that was a unique discovery, and that just leaving it within the scientific realm would be a great waste. So that's when I set out to document it.
But hunting at night is only one of the exceptional facts about this great white shark population. They don't just patrol these waters to hunt and then slip back out to sea. Many of these behemoths reside here, hunting and resting in the shallows, making this one of the largest resident great white shark populations known to science. And many of these are young sharks, because Mossel Bay also provides the great white with a safe place to mature. But a large shark population requires plenty to eat. A special set of environmental conditions allows Mossel Bay to offer such a bounty. The sheltered bay creates a climate different from the rest of the region. This microclimate keeps the waters several degrees warmer than the ocean beyond the bay, providing favorable conditions both above and below the surface. Underwater, deep currents bring nutrients to the surface in the form of salts. These mix with sunlight and help provide the foundations for a healthy marine ecosystem, from the smallest of life forms all the way up the food chain. Some of the best fishermen are found near the top. Seals. And in South Africa, where there are seals, there are great white sharks. Mossel Bay's seal colony inhabits a small island just 800 meters from shore. In a deep water channel near the island, great whites can generate enough speed to propel their one-ton bodies vertically. But only here in Mossel Bay, they are known to hunt like this at night.
She erupted from the water, she had a seal in her mouth. This was the first time in the world that ever white sharks had been recorded naturally hunting seals at night time.
While Mossel Bay keeps this massive great white shark population well fed, all this happens just a kilometre from one of the country's most popular beaches, where no shark nets separate bathers from sharks. Worldwide, great whites attack more humans than any other species of shark. Yet we know of only one person killed by white sharks in Mossel Bay. This unusual situation surprised Ryan when he started his study.
One of the first times that we were tracking one of the big sharks, we started getting very, very nervous. She was about 200 meters offshore, and there was a bunch of swimmers. It was amazing that she just totally ignored them. She just carried on for the next 6, 7, 8 hours doing her sharky business. It is a place where there's humans and there's sharks, and they do seem to coexist together.
Now Ryan wants to find out how these sharks coexist with humans and why they have adapted to hunt at night, and capture this extraordinary new behavior on video for the first time. It's a serious challenge. If he succeeds in filming it on camera, he'll shed light on one of nature's most spectacular events. Ryan found out about the unusually large number of sharks residing in Mossel Bay from the locals.
When we started this project, we had a lot of information coming from fishermen, from divers, and they gave us tips about where white sharks are thought to aggregate.
But Ryan could only prove their numbers by using several methods of shark tagging and identification to conduct a head count. Acoustic tagging allows him to follow their movement, but hitting the right target takes perfect timing.
That's fantastic. Right there, right beside his dorsal fin is exactly where we want to tag. The sharks are nice, about 3.5 metre, female.
Every tag transmits at a different frequency, so Ryan can trace the movement of each individual shark. Each time a tagged shark passes any of the receivers placed at strategic points in the bay, it records a data hit. Together, tags and receivers form a monitoring matrix that detects any tagged shark passing within a 500-metre radius.
We downloaded these, and on 2 of them we got well over 100,000 hits from 20 to 25 different sharks.
This means that on average, one shark went past one receiver 10 times a day, every day over a period of 6 months. This revealed something unexpected.
These sharks weren't just transient swimming up and down the coast. They were actually resident in Mossel Bay for 5 to 6 months of the year.
Soon, Ryan verified the presence of a resident population of about 50 great whites, the most dangerous shark species on Earth. To identify and keep a record of every shark he sees, Ryan photographs their dorsal fins. The markings on the edge of the fin are unique, like human fingerprints. The next tag to find its mark reunites Ryan with an old friend.
Nice. Shark we just got, her name's Tadpole Rosie. On her dorsal fin there's this white pigmentation which looks like a little tadpole. And I've actually watched her for about 3 or 4 years now. She started off about a 2.5 metre shark, and when she came now she was about 3.5, 3.7, 3.8.
But it's not the shark he wants. In order to capture the seldom seen nighttime feeding behavior on tape, Ryan and his crew search for a known veteran night hunter, a shark they call Big Mama. Once they have tagged a shark, they can follow it even after dark and try to film it breach hunting.
Tucking as close as we can get.
They focus their search near a receiver that is just 600 meters from the beach. The crew prime the water with a pungent lure.
We do know there's a lot of white sharks in Mossel Bay, but to actually get them close enough to the boat to put a transmitter on them, the only option we have is to chum and bait. Arthur, let's start running the slick down. Turn around and work just off the coastline behind the breakers.
Dragging the chum behind the boat leaves an irresistible trail of sardine oil that can attract sharks within a kilometer radius. Ryan makes sure they cover as much of the reef area as possible.
A little bit further, mate. Just get us opposite this corner of the pink building.
He anchors the boat to keep it locked in position and ready for the shark's arrival. There's plenty of bait in the water, but it's attracting everything except sharks. Sharks can be creatures of habit, but they're not always predictable.
Unless something extremely different has happened. We don't have sharks.
Almost 3 hours later, a fin suddenly slices the water. Relieved, Ryan gets ready to record the shark's details.
He's a little faith, even though I probably have the least faith out of all.
It's less than 3 meters, a youngster. For the purpose of his mission, Ryan's focusing only on sharks large enough to hunt seals.
Yeah, no, we're not going to tag the small one, only if another big one comes.
He prepares for his next shark, this time using a different tag.
This little tag is what we call an acoustic pinger. And when we stick it on the shark, it gives out this little ping, ping, ping. And what allows us to track and follow these animals 24, 48, 72 hours at a time.
Ryan's prepared everything. Fresh bait in the water, a chum slick around the boat, and a tag. What he doesn't have is a 4-meter shark. Finally, a large great white. Just by its girth, Ryan knows this is no youngster.
Dorsal out, there we go.
She lunges for the bait, and Ryan wastes no time.
Nice. So cool. Sorry, just pass me the data book, mate.
Ryan recognizes this female by the unique shape of her dorsal fin.
Okay. This is one of the sharks I've been looking for. I caught a big mama about 2 years ago, and she was 4 meters in, and she's pretty much that size now.
This reunion is a good omen.
I think of all the sharks in the bay, Big Mama probably has a very special place for me because she seems to be the iconic great white. When she goes and hunts, she does it very, very efficiently. And what is also very special is she's the first one that I did get to see hunt at night time.
Now that he's found the perfect shark, he must ensure the tagging system works.
Getting the tracking system up and running. Can you start setting it up?
He joins his colleague in the boat equipped with the tracking system set to the radio frequency of Big Mama's acoustic device.
This is a hydrophone, and what it does is basically pick up the ping from the transmitter that I put on the shark earlier. So this is a machine that lets me follow around for however many hours I want to behind the shark that we just tagged.
Right over the top of her.
With Big Mama under continual observation, Ryan can now start to plan how he can capture her extraordinary night hunting behavior on video. Like the other great whites here, she's adapted her breaching behavior to hunt both in daylight and at night. But why have only the white sharks of Mossel Bay learned this? Ryan thinks the answer lies in the behavior of their prey. Most Cape fur seals follow a routine. In between their fishing trips out at sea, they stay close to shore. Some float in groups called rafts, where it's too shallow for the sharks to hunt. So hungry great whites lay in wait in the deep channel until the seals sprint out to fish. Many shark species hunt at night, but great whites prefer daylight. That's because their retina, the light-sensitive screen behind the eyeball, needs sufficient light to see prey accurately. They often patrol from below, using the surface light to identify the familiar silhouette of a seal. As a defense, seals swim as a group to confuse the sharks with many potential targets. But the colony of seals at Mossel Bay is tiny, so they can't depend on safety in numbers. Less than 5,000 seals live here, compared to 75,000 at the largest seal colony 350 kilometers away at False Bay. This means that each Mossel Bay seal has a 20% higher chance of being eaten than their False Bay cousins. That makes Mossel Bay's seals incredibly vulnerable when leaving the island during daylight. So they use a different defense. They avoid the peak great white hunting period and stay ashore until after sunset. Then they make their escape under cover of darkness. Curiously, the great whites have adapted their hunting tactics to outmaneuver the seals.
I believe the reason why these sharks have evolved this night hunting behavior at Mossel Bay is because this is the only option available to them if they are going to successfully hunt seals.
Everything else the sharks need for their unique long-term occupation of the bay is already here. Seal Island is the killing zone. In the north of the bay, 2 underwater reefs provide the sharks with a crucial resting place. About 15 meters deep and less than 400 meters from shore, the sharks find the reefs an ideal underwater environment for spending downtime. Here, they hang out between hunts, sometimes staying 3 days on the same shallow reef.
What I'm thinking is happening here is that the white sharks are going very close to the breakers where there's a lot of turbulence, and this is forcing the water past their gills and allowing them to breathe without actually having to expend much energy in swimming.
The second of the reefs also acts as a nursery site for young great whites to grow into adolescence.
The sharks on this reef are typically around 1.5 to 3 meters in length. These are juvenile baby sharks, and we think it's mainly the fish that they're feeding off up here rather than hunting the seals.
According to Ryan's research, these young sharks reside here 12 months of the year. Ryan believes this reef is one of only a handful of its kind in the world. Mainly the true seal hunters, the large adults, leave the bay between November and April, the seal's annual breeding season, when prey is most scarce. During this time, the heavy bull seals come ashore to claim a territory. They assert their dominance by forcing immature seals off the island, who then go to sea or haul out away from breeding colonies. The pregnant females remain land-bound to give birth and suckle their young for the first week. At this time of year, there's very little for the sharks to eat, even though many newborns are washed off the island.
It's breeding season on Seal Island. Although these guys look like proper seals, they can't actually swim. So all it really takes is one big wave to come and wash it off. Now you'd think with a lot of these things floating all around in the water, it'd be pretty much a smorgasbord for sharks. But if you really look at what these things consist of, it's little more than this very yucky fur and bones, so it's not a lot of energetic value for the sharks.
For this reason, the large sharks which prefer a diet of seal meat leave the bay in search of other food. But by the beginning of May, the bulls have left the island. The juveniles return from their summer adventures out at sea. The seals resume their daily lives. Right on cue, the big great whites return, and night hunting begins again. Ryan is now trying to locate Big Mama. With the hydrophone receiver in the water, he listens for the familiar signal.
On many occasions, I've gone out and searched for these tag sharks for hours upon hours with no success.
He'll only find Big Mama if she swims within a 500-meter radius of the hydrophone. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack.
Got a shark.
joking. It's got a shark. It's here. It's here.
She's on the other side of the island.
Straight ahead, come on.
They only have 40 minutes before true night. If Big Mama hunts now, Ryan will miss the opportunity to film a true night breach.
They swim so fast down here, they're going about 5 to 6 k's an hour.
So far, the 4-meter seal-hunting female performs exactly as Ryan predicts. But will she wait until darkness to make her move? Ryan closes in. He needs to be near Big Mama to have any chance of capturing her hunt on camera.
Come down on zero again. It's right behind the island.
She circles the island again, and eventually she makes her way back toward the deep hunting channel.
So cool. You got a hunting shark.
It soon becomes too dark to use a normal camera, so the crew switches to thermal. Changing to a heat-sensitive thermal image reveals the seals porpoising fast across the bay, heading for open water. Each of the vivid colors represents a different temperature. The seals register 37 degrees Celsius, the same as a human being. The water is a cool 17 degrees. In the twilight, Big Mama suddenly makes her move. The thermal image illustrates the great white is at least 5 degrees warmer than the surrounding water. Being warm-blooded enables the shark to regulate the temperature of its blood and draw on its energy reserves when chasing fast prey.
Among sharks, white sharks are pretty unique. They're one of only 5 species that are actually warm-blooded. They're a lot more like mammals than they are like fish. So what we decided to do was use a thermocam to try to document them hunting at night time. Okay, stop here, stop here.
Ryan records the time.
18:33.
The verdict. Just 20 minutes after sunset. Strictly speaking, not true night. In order to film his researchers' unique findings, Ryan must keep following Big Mama. He knows from 6 years of studying these sharks that they do hunt well into the night. In 2005, Ryan used the same scientific tagging equipment he's using now to follow a shark for over 100 consecutive hours. That's 4 days. Along the way, he made a revolutionary discovery.
We were tracking the sharks for multiple days. It was the first time ever that I've seen with my own eyes these sharks suddenly breach out of nowhere in the middle of the night to hunt these seals.
But capturing this behavior on video in the dark presents a whole new challenge. Special technology like this thermal imaging camera and an image intensifier lens solve the problem of seeing without light. The tracking system locates the shark's whereabouts, but Ryan must ensure the cameras get lined up and focused on precisely where the shark will breach.